My preferred hot drink. Depends on what you mean by preferred.
You doing that streamer day 10? I think that guy said he's doing streamer day 10.
Rudy, thank you for 103 months. Matanks, thank you for 10 years. I am a bean soup consumer. I have usually 2 cups of coffee a day. And then I have a more irregular drink that is my go-to for when I want just a hot drink that's more of a treat, which is chai, which I'm having now. That's what I currently have.
Oh gosh! Oh no!
Whee! Thank you for 151 months. Good God. That's so many months. You're approaching 13 years. I think you're just 5 months away. Yeah, 156, I think, is 13 years. Wamasi, thank you for the stampede. Quite a long time. Did I just inspire you to unsubscribe? Yeah, I've been doing this for 13 years now. Thank you, Em. Well, I had a lot of help last time to do a bunch of this. Ah, yes, reflecting on age. A thing we should never do. But yeah, last time I basically sat down with, we had built the shape of the CRT, like the main bit of it, this bit, the first stream. And then the second stream, all of the rest of this occurred. So I had just basically sat down with the intention of like, I'm going to rough out a bunch more stuff, which I did do. And then we started messing around with lighting and rendering, which is always the danger, as I recall, with 3D modeling, was that rendering and ogling what you've done is almost a hindrance to progress. We're oogling, we're ogling. I honestly think after this lighting diversion, you should leave the bulk of the lighting for when it's in Godot, because in engine it's going to look different than in editor. Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Any of this lighting here was not with the intention of. This isn't representative of, at all of what I have in my imagination for this project. At some point, I had shown a little bit of the style, which I've talked about, enough, I feel. we talked about it on the first stream, but lighting wise,
Wait, what? Okay, wait. Hold on now. Now wait. What? Hold on. What's that? Huh? Oh, okay.
Bugs, thank you for 14 months. Very much appreciated. So I want to do a PlayStation 1 style-ish. Not like terribly, terribly faithful, but basically like a low poly.
I wouldn't say there's many ways to crank it, but there's certainly more than one way to crank it.
Anonymous, thank you for the 3 months gift sub to Bleak Knot. So yeah, this I thought was a pretty inspiring project here.
1 year ago.
And it's not like there's no lighting or anything, but just the lighting I think is going to be somewhat simpler. I mean, this person is really fucking good at this. I'm far from this. That foliage in particular was really incredible. And so something kind of in this style. I like that a lot. In fact, this vibe here almost kind of in the right sort of vein. You got like wood paneling and
I don't know what's happened, CO Thunder, but I have lost the ability to know what to call you.
Exactly. And that remains true. Thank you for 101 months. Yeah, so this is definitely in the visual ballpark of where I'm aiming, which means lighting-wise, not looking to do ray traced anything at all. We were just mucking around. We were messing about. Wait. Okay. It's like, when did the desk become part of the wall? Anyway. That is correct, C. Do you know what the song is called?
You accusing me of cranking it out on stream?
Anonymous, thank you for the 5 gift subs. It's crazy that you know all of that, see. It's called Opening Menu. Yeah, that'd be awesome, Dev. That's awesome. It's not a game I've ever probably touched in my life. Do it. It sounds lovely. I'm not a fan of wood paneling in the in like the 60s, 70s style. I'm not into that. Yes, a coiled cable would be cool. And I'm curious, actually, I think I know how that would be done in a low poly, lo-fi style, which probably would just be a long rectangle that just has a texture of a cord on it. Yeah, I can see it in my mind's eye. Sounds awesome, see. Yeah, PlayStation supported transparent textures. Interestingly, I think it was the Saturn that struggled with transparency. Ugh, Facebook. Surprisingly hard to find. Let's see. I just want sort of like a simple sum up. It's kind of hard to pin it down. Yeah. That's the that's why there's that goofy thing that happens with the Sonic waterfall, right? I forget what it is. But in certain situations, it can cause the waterfall to look like it's not moving or something. I don't remember. There's a lot of weird little quirks and things, of course, for all the systems. Yeah, that's a crank hole. Cool. Mossy, thank you for the gift sub to Unlife for the Party. Doug, that's all sprite transparency. that's like all of it on all systems. Oh, well, yeah. Sure. This is everything you could ever want to know about all this. Yes. It's crazy how much more advanced the N64 was than the PlayStation 1, but how limited it was by other factors that meant it didn't get the library that the PS1 got. I always felt back in the day that like when these were like the relevant consoles, I always felt like this shit was like, man, this looks like shit. It's so so janky looking all the time. Spoken as a true person without purchasing power to get their own PS1 and therefore had an N64 and didn't have a choice really in the matter. Yep. That was the last time I think that Nintendo really cared about trying to be number one with the graphics. I think they got spanked so bad that they just never really recovered from that. Oh yeah, I mean, that whole period of existence for Nintendo was them just taking L after L after L. What generation of consoles was that? What do we consider that generation to be? 5th generation? Do they have a sales comparison thing? Whoa. Woof. I mean, they were doing okay in other ways, but wow. Absolutely spanked. Not spanked quite as bad as Sega, but Sega was kind of manufacturing L's at that point. But yeah. They just didn't do well. Yeah, PS2 I think still number one selling console ever. But I think that, you know, Nintendo put a lot of money and effort and resources and research and etc. into trying to make the N64 crazy, and then it just didn't pay off. Not to mention all of the casualties along the way, like the fact that the PlayStation is basically the, you know, it's like an offshoot of the N64 because they had that whole debacle with, you know, trying to experiment with disk drives and then fucking over every company that they worked with. Like, they didn't need to do that. They basically just pissed Sony off. And Panasonic as well, right? Wasn't Panasonic the other one? And they ended up doing... I don't know if 3DO is actually like a spin-off of the whole disc experiment, or if that was probably unrelated. But Nintendo was just, they were just fucking around in the 90s. I don't know. They were high off of the success of the Game Boy and the Nintendo still, I guess. Because even the Super Nintendo didn't do as well as the Nintendo. crazy to me because the Super Nintendo was an incredible system. Ah, yeah, cool stuff. Oh yeah, the the Pippin. What's really crazy is that everybody sold all these perfectly round numbers of consoles. No. I don't think it was. This might not be the most accurate wiki. For instance, this says 1998 for the Game Boy, which I think might be true for the Game Boy Color, but not the Game Boy. Maybe this is all like the last release of the thing, of the last version of the thing, or who knows? I don't know what they're thinking with that. But no, Sega Saturn came out like early, right? It would have been because they did a they basically detonated. They pulled a crazy self-destruction move where they pulled that thing where they were like, actually the Sega Saturn's out now, and then all of the people developing games for Sega Saturn went, excuse me, what the fuck? And then also Sony walked out and just undercut the price of the Sega Saturn immediately after they said that. And it was like one of the stupidest, worst launches of anything ever. Yeah, 94, 95. It must have been awful working for Sega and being one of the people who knew what they were doing and trying really hard to make really good stuff, because Sega made really great stuff. And then just to get absolutely fucking clapped by the stupid C-suite over and over and over again. Just everything you try to do gets undercut and destroyed by some dickhead that you've never met in another department, often in another country. Like, the Sega Saturn is a fucking cool console. And it had a lot of great software. But, they fucked it. They fucked it bad. Yeah, BFA. That feels like that's the only future left as well. That's the only future available to all of us is a world of arbitrary and capricious decisions. Oh, lovely. That's great, Copper. Love to hear that. A world of unending nightmares. This? I don't think I've seen a yellowed one. This is the Japanese model. Yep. And I have both of these. This one was sent to me long ago. The dark gray with the blue buttons. Oh, this yellows? I would think this one would. Also, this is my favorite. Like, I love the look of this one. The black one is like too nondescript. I like that this one's got a little bit of color going on. This one, it's okay. It's not bad. It's fucking nuts that this wasn't even the only console they had planned at the time as well. Because there was a sort of, what was it called? The Neptune, I think. There was like a between console. It was basically a 32X on its own. Yeah. This would have been between the Genesis and the 32X and then the Saturn. There would have been also the Neptune. They were losing their minds. There was also the Sega CD. What were they doing? What were they doing? Yeah, just a lot of disappointment in the land of Sega. We became very distracted, folks. We went way far afield. It never ever happens. It never happens. I liked your idea, BFA, of a wheel of props, but we could also just do, because I don't have anything like that ready to go. You guys can just say suggestions, and then I will pick something that intrigues me. I mean, there was the list of stuff that I yapped about last time. Plant in a pot. Suggestions box. IBM Model M. Okay, well, I feel like I should still be doing, like, roughing stuff out. Although, I don't know why everything else is relegated to being, like, just a box, when I also did do this CRT. Rolodex. Rolodex is a fairly easy one, to be honest, because first of all, let's get a cube out here, right? And kind of put it on the desk. Oh, Lord. Okay, so it should be kind of small, and oops, not that one. There we go. Okay. Bring this up. Nope. How do I want to do this? I've forgotten the various commands that you guys told me, that you taught me. But I feel like it should have a kind of a round top, which means I need to do the edge split stuff. But I have forgotten. It was something E. I forgot. Oh, I'm not in edit mode, number one. So that's going to have a lot to do with it. So Control E gives us an edge menu. Bridge edge loops. That's different. And not what I want. Screw. Okay, all right. No screw. Choose edge selection instead of face. Front and back top edges only. I don't think I'm looking for bevel. I had something in mind that I was trying to do, but I mean bevel is right there. Just these BFA. And then bevel. Oh. I wish I wish I would have had my mouse positioned better for it. How do I position? I can do Control B. That wasn't a better position. What about here? That bit's a little bit annoying. Oh, you can go around the world. Okay. All right. Whoa. Nice. Okay. I was thinking more like in a casing. These are all fancy where they're just like floating in the air. I was thinking more 80s. No item found. Not there. Whoa. Wow. That's chonker. Now we're talking. Look at this thing. It does seem like a cylinder and a block might be more on target. This is a painting. My Rolodex by Joanna Drucker. Incredible, Joanna. Thank you for this This incredible painting. Look at that. That would match the floppy disk holder. This is very similar to that, right? Is this Joanna's? Yeah, it's got that smoky plastic top. This might have been what I was imagining. I think you'll see if you look at if you look at my art. It's quite similar. They're exactly the same. They're exactly the same. Uncanny. All I need is a cylinder. And then job finished. Right? There it is. Here's our boy. He's a big boy. a wee bit big. All right, let's have a look at you. Be honest, a little bit of offset's not really wrong, but it's fine. Oh, BFA? Is that so? It feels too like high def with all of its sides like that. Look at that. I think it's too small. I'm also realizing. When creating it, which I didn't. Well, I'll try making it your way. What do you suggest? I still don't understand what that is. I'm going to stop clicking on it. Add cylinder. Wait. Add cylinder. Wait. Wait, hold on. Move 3D cursor to object center. Yeah, this track sounds very much like Country Roads. Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. It's Star Ocean. Weirdly. But it might be because also this track is called Calm Time. Pretty sure Country Home or Country Roads is was very popular in Japan. We're stuck with this not having a cylinder now. How should we go about it? What's the way to do it? How do you add a cylinder to such a thing? I can put the cursor right on the side of it, but I can't put it on the origin. I assume that's where if I add a cylinder, it'll now appear. Yep. Right there. Probably just like a solid 8. So basically I'm just gonna do the same thing I did before. Oh, nope. Nope, because we did it the way we did it, it has now consumed and eaten our Rolodex. Shift S in what, where, when, who, what, why. And also how. Ooh. Okay. Let's do this. There we go. All right, time to do the same thing again. It's fine. 90. And then a bit of that. And a bit of that. And then a bit of that. And that was easier. That's definitely an easier way to do it. And then I feel like a Rolodex would be just a bit bigger. It certainly would be bigger than the mouse. It would be a lot bigger than the mouse. That's probably about right. Or it's much closer to being the right proportion. I think you get the rest of the way there for the Rolodex with the texture, right? Probably. Is it tiny still? Is it too tiny? If I make it bigger, it's going to be a bread box. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of bread boxes. Good render. Good rendering. Love that. There we go. Okay. We have a Rolodex. If we have a Rolodex, we got to have a phone, right? We can't not have a phone. So let us have phone. Sure. Let's add. Phone is going to be kind of a lot, I feel. Right? Moving, when you just hit G and then you just start waving the mouse around, moving something feels so disorienting because the movement of it is so uncanny. It's like you really can't tell, at least in this view. Is it going down or forward? Oh, it's going down. This is up and down. Or is it? It feels like you're in an Escher drawing. Okay. Anyway, stop being dumb for a second. I'll try anyway. Let's just put it there for now. All right. No. First and foremost, phone too tall. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm actually not aiming for a rotary phone. I was thinking of one basically similar to the one in Kentucky Route 0. So it would be there would be a receiver, speaker, buttons. Basically is the objective. You said that in such a way that it felt super passive aggressive. And I assume that you didn't mean it passive aggressive because me clarifying my idea shouldn't have been insulting. Please stop doing that. Oh God. All right. So basically in this territory, and then nope, that's too weird. That's not that's not good. Not like that. Beep 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 beep. Oh. Whoa. Whoa. No. Press C to clamp. Oh, look at that. It really clamps it. It's clamps. There we go. Now that's a look. The Tesla Cyberphone. So this would also really be like kind of more of an angled thing. Like that on some little legs or something, probably, you know? That is pretty fun. Okay, sure. I'll do that. There's more side edges now. Yeah, that's one thing that's occurred. But not that many more. It's fine. I have to say, I'm really impressed with Blender's controls. Ruh-roh. I didn't do the wrong thing. No, I did the right thing. What's gone wrong here? That really just doesn't want to work. Try one side at a time. Okay. I saw your tip and I just didn't do it. I'll do it now. Wow. Oh. Okay. Hard to tell what's happening. That's some interesting shape. I guess, you know, at least it's interesting. More of the same over here. Yeah, I don't know what I expected. I would say not that. But that's what we got. It doesn't have to be good. It does still look rather phone-like. What have I done? What have I ding dang done? Oh my god. There we go. That does do stuff, which is good. I think we want stuff doing things. Does the phone feel too small? I feel like it kind of does. Merge the overlaid edges at the peak of the receiver. You mean these guys? So that top middle edge is 2 edges. Oh, there's 2 here. Huh? Split selected edges so that each neighbor face gets its own copy. No, that sounds like more. Wait. That made this slightly less weird. Yeah, no, that is a lot nicer. This is a more expected, curve, essentially. Actually, what I'm not doing is... Okay, well that... that makes sense. That makes sense. That's not what I wanted, but that makes sense. Well, well, unfortunately, that's not quite right. I can do a thing. To work on width rather than percentage. What is this RPG called, Twee? Does it say M? Oh, it does say that. Oh, interesting. There you go. Perfect. Love how well that works. It's so good every time. Yeah, I think in my head I have a more boxy receiver in mind, but it's okay. And also, I mean, like a handle, right? Not. This is a clog, is what I've done there. Basically, again, more essentially the model from Kentucky Route Zero, which is a pretty spot on 80s, 90s telephone. Unknown whether it'll be functional. I don't really have very fleshed out plans. I know that that does impact what you're doing model wise, right? Like, is it just going to be a texture situation, or is it going to be something that you actually have to model out? So yeah, I figure anything like that, I'll just have to revisit. I'll just have to come back and make it functional later. Okay. Well, we have a phone and a Rolodex, and a mouse and a keyboard, and a computer and a desk and a room. Radio tuner? Maybe. Maybe. Picture frame. I'm curious about. Y'all said plant was one of the early things mentioned. And I feel like that one's pretty massively problematic. A pot for a plant is not so problematic, but if I'm going to do a lo-fi plant, I don't think I even have the necessary stuff to do that here. I would need to have textures ready to go to handle the foliage part of the plant, to do like the billboard stuff. Just a dead plant with no leaves. I mean, what I'm imagining is a pot with sort of like a hump in it for to represent like the dirt, and then that thing where you just do like the trunk of the plant, which would just basically be like a spike going straight up. Fifth generation, essentially mid to late 90s. See, PlayStation 1. Thereabouts and contemporary. You get 18 triangles for your plant. Right.
Oh no.
I mean, all of this can be, of course, done in Blender. I think what C's point is, and everyone who's been helping me has been doing this variously off and on, is in terms of thinking of the workflow. Where should some of this stuff actually happen? Can you 3D model in Godot? Sort of. I guess I didn't think about that part at all. I assumed that basically I would have to make all models in Blender, as well as texture them and everything, and then import that into Godot. But I actually have no sense at all of what it's like to build out a 3D scene in Godot. How do you place everything? How do you position everything? Do you do all of that also in Blender or what? I don't know any of this at all. I do. I feel good. I don't know. I've been struggling, and I've been wanting to do creative stuff, and I just feel good when I'm doing creative stuff. No, don't get carried away, Rudy. I barely know what the fuck I'm doing here. Model anything you need to be a specific shape. There are primitive meshes so you can do blocky stuff, and there's CSG, but you're not supposed to use CSG for intricate production models. What is CSG? Is that sort of like... Is that like brushes? The way you've described it makes me think of like in the Hammer editor for like Gold Source and Source Engine. Yeah, so it's brushes is what it is. Constructive geometry, right? It was always funny when you would do like custom Half-Life or Half-Life 2 maps or any of the mods, you know. And you've got your real models, which in Half-Life 1 it was much harder to discern between what was actually like a 3D model and what was some shit somebody slapped together with brushes and hammer. You could do weird stuff. But in once we got to Half-Life 2 and the Source Engine, it was way more stark because the 3D model fidelity could be quite high, but the brush fidelity, not so much. And so if you did try to construct anything complex out of brushes, it was quite obvious, stuck out like a sore thumb. Constructive solid geometry, okay. Gotcha. So, but yeah, like all of the shit that that one inspiration project, this one here, everything that you see in here, all of this is 100% Blender. This isn't even on any game engine or anything like that. These are just like scenes built out in Blender. Now this is somebody who knows what they're doing because I don't know, I don't remember where they worked. I think they worked on like an Assassin's Creed game. This is somebody who's done like AAA game development work. But like, I love their foliage stuff at the beginning of this that they show. But basically, they just started just going wacko mode in Blender, and eventually made this entire town. Yeah, Big Top Burger is entirely done in Blender, which is fucking crazy. But that artist has done other, like, Big Top Burger is nice, but they've done a few other things that I think are way more impressive to look at in terms of like the output. They did that one, it's supposed to sort of be like a Japanese show, like stop motion. It looks stop motion. I don't know how to describe it to you, but it's like a one episode, one off. And it looks so good. It looks like real stop motion figures and sets and stuff, but it is 100% Blender. Oh, I just remember their name. Worthy Kids. It's like, what the fuck was the name? I know Kids is in the name, and I can't remember their fucking name, so I just said the artist. Yeah, look at this stuff. I want to get to the point where I'm doing this business. Yes, Captain Yajima is great. I love that one. What else? There's the modeling of the van also is very cool. Basically, they just, as they say, they fell into making a bunch of props and just kept going and going and going. Cool, just everything just stopped working. That's nice. Oh well. Hopefully I'm still online. Am I online? I am. Anyway, I would love to get to this level. And of course, this person has just spent a year just making this, you know? Cool. It's fine. You got the point that I was driving at. Yeah. Well, so is Source is also, or was BSP, because Gold Source was, forked off of what, IdTech 2, Quake 1. Yeah. Well, Source is like more on top of Gold Source, right? I mean, like, how IdTech is it at this point? I don't know, of course. I don't know anything. But I feel like Source's IdTech is perhaps maybe crazy to say. Certainly Source 2 must be far from that by now. This song is Big Frank's Bass Fishing 4. I am not for real. It is Romancing Saga 3. There's been a kind of running thing, Tweet, where for nights like this, I'll throw on this playlist, right? And it's just relaxing Super Nintendo music. And there's so many tracks on the Super Nintendo that I won't know what it's from. I'll be listening to it, I'm like, man, this is definitely some RPG music, right? And then I'll switch over to see what it is, and it's like Ken Griffey's Baseball, 95, menu music. I'm like, what? How is this? How is this that? How could this be? People were just fucking wiling out on the Super Nintendo. I don't know what to tell you. They were going nuts. Let me see if I can find an example real quick. Not to immediately leave the cool song, but I am gonna immediately leave the cool song. I jumped right to it. This is a nice track, right? You can imagine that this is like from an RPG. Maybe like a sort of a cave. You getting that vibe? This is Staff Roll from Ken Griffey Jr. Winning Run. Let me see. There's another. I've never heard of this fucking game. I basically, most Super Nintendo music that I hear, I almost assume that it's going to be an RPG track if it sounds good at all. This is from a game called Mr. Nuts, and it has a picture of a squirrel on it. And I've never seen this game before, and the track is called Cloud. I know, it's crazy, man. Let's see, what's another good one? Let me find another one to cook you with. Let's see. Yeah, give me a good one. I love the ones that are very unexpected. Right now, you're currently listening to a track from Waterworld called Diving. Just so you know. Maybe the one I'm looking for is in the first one here. This is also from Waterworld. This is called Map. This is the one we hear the most because it's the very first one on the first video in the playlist. I can't find any of the ones I'm fucking looking for. God damn it. Oh, wait. Okay. All right. Give this a listen. Not baseball. It's kind of Zelda-ish, huh? I could also say it sounds like this gives me like RPG Village vibes. Yeah, it's a little lullaby-ish as well. This track is called Intro, and it is from Bassin's Black Bass. Super Nintendo was fucking crazy. Just the music was out of control on the Super Nintendo. That's not even as far as I'm pretty sure there's other fish games in the list. There's other deceptive fish game soundtracks. This is Secret of Mana. All right. We started talking about plants and then crashed out. Is what happened. So, hypothetically, I could approximate. It was like I don't know how to approach it really. I don't really know if I had a plant in my vision for this. At least not on the desk. Maybe a plant, like a potted plant off to the side or something, could do. Right? Oh man, having these sidewalls during all of this is really good. It's definitely helpful to have that. Yeah, fern, like a large fern in a big pot. So, you know, probably we would want to start off with a cylinder over here. Probably a few more sides in this case. And then let's bring it up a bit. Whoa. Whoa. Go back there. And then actually, what I'm going to do is like that, right? And then, uh-oh, I did the zoom thing. Let's actually do this. Okay. Oh, good. What was the, how do I look at only this? See, was that? Oh, slash. Ah, thank you. Thank you. Now, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe something like that. And then maybe something like that, right? And then kind of like something like that, right? You know? And then kind of like something like that. Honestly, my mouse position was ass. It was worse. Oh boy. Probably, maybe like that. And then kind of like that. If you click the drop down arrow next to the shaded viewport balls in the top right corner while in object mode, you can turn on backface culling so that those walls stop being an issue. Oh. Okay, let's see if I can figure out what you were trying to tell me. The drop down arrow next to the shaded balls. These balls? Backface culling. So if I bring everything back, wow, 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 wow. It's true. It was true. Thank you. All right. We have a decent sized pot for a plant. Oh, every face of the back wall is a back face, apparently. It is inside out. Oh well. It doesn't affect our rendering. Now for the plant part of it. I was sort of imagining oh, certainly. Certainly it'll cause problems in Godot. I have no doubt. Let's do a cone with 6. Not even that. Let's do 4. We're doing a pyramid, actually. I lied. And then, whoa, whoa. And then, was it Shift X? No. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. And then we're growing. Look, we've grown. So much we've grown. Now, this is the part where I don't really know how to approach the fronds part of it, you know? I feel like the fronds is going to be like a lot. Well, it's not a lot. I just don't know how to approach it. That's all. Kind of, it's not complex. It's just unknown to me. Sad references that are sad to reference. Sphere? Not a bad idea, but not what I have in mind. Well, you guys kept saying fern, so fern is what I have in my mind, in my mind's eye, which to me feels like you would have a sort of large teardrop-ish shaped thing that would be convex. I mean, it would be relatively flat. So one way or the other, it's going to be either convex or concave, depending on which way you're looking at it. I can't remember which one's inside and outside. Yes, this is a little tree. This is exactly that. That's why I put it on the floor, not on the desk. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. See, concave. Perfect. So I think what I meant was convex, because what you would, you'd have sort of like the frond, usually the weight of the leaf weighs it down on both sides, right? So from your perspective looking at it, typically you're going to get like a convex sort of appearance. So I could then do, as BFA was saying, add a plane. To be honest, I could just sort of, just sort of stack these up like, yeah, later on there will be textures that make this make sense. Add a 6-sided circle, huh? A 6-sided circle? I didn't even realize that you could do just a circle. And there it is. Look at you. Does it exist on this plane of existence? Fill type triangle. It is indeed just lines. How do I set the fill type? Oh, do you want to learn about modifiers? It could automate your stack idea. It's on the create operation. Well, shit. Fill type nothing. Fill type n-gon. Fill type triangle fan. I think I see where you're going with this. I think I see how a triangle, a 6-sided circle that's basically like a pizza, is quite close to a frond, right? So actually, if I do this, right, and then a little, well, we'll have to do some rotating, but thereabouts, right? And in fact, if I go over to edit mode, and we'll do some edge selection. We do that, right? Hello. Hello, baby.
Hello.
What's up?
Not much. I'm just gonna go lay down because bug won't let me.
Oh.
So, I promised her bed.
Alrighty. Oh, not that. Yeah, and then a bit of rotating here and there. Yeah, for sure. A lot of this stuff really does feel like the trouble is that you have like 1,000 ways that you can do a thing. And you just have to pick one of the things. You have to pick one of the ways that you can do the thing. And then do it, basically, right? So now I could like, duplicate this a few times. Probably shrink to rink as we go up. You have to pick one, get used to it, and then refuse to do it any other way, even when it would be easier to. Right. You have to make it a religion. That's also a requirement and standard practice in the industry, in every industry. That's definitely something I've learned in my life, is that every single thing has its religious adherents, its zealots. Now, of course, this looks like shit, so you know what would be handy for these would be to move that little origin. Right? So that I could quickly,
Major systems.
Okay.
Choose a lovely time.
All right. I'll be right back, folks. I did forget to unmute. I'm sorry. I am back. And I was responding to stuff, but well. One thing I said was regarding modifiers, Dab. That sounds interesting, but I think I want a bit more of an organic feel ish to the whole arrangement. Yes, Chrono Trigger, indeed. That doesn't really look very good because that's not the way plants are. This is a failure. Sort of a fern kind of thing. Yeah, actually I could improve the look of this. I just kind of did one thing and then I moved on. One thing I think would improve it a lot straight away would be to do this. And then also probably that. And that. Mm. Now this has Metroid vibes. It's the it's that sound chip, the samples and stuff, the way that it worked, it was great. Yeah, this is looking a lot better from what I did before. I think anyway. It may yet be shit, but only everyone else can tell me that. Oh, like instances. That's interesting. I'm gonna, as mentioned earlier, zealously continue to do it the way I was because I didn't do it from the beginning that way, and I don't want to start over. But that's great to know. Alt D instead. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense, gotta say. That sure does make that a lot of sense right there. I like that. You're talking sense. Anyways, it's kind of a plant. Cool. Let's try again. There we go. It feels as though there's a plant in the room with us. Foliage? Foliage? Foliage is what you wrap your sandwich in. What the hell, Dan? And now we can do a between two ferns kind of situation. This whole thing should be a group or something, right? I don't know that I want to do that. That would be one of the leaves. I don't know if one of the leaves should be the parent of the whole thing. Oh, really? So I could select all these idiots and then do, oh, link object data, huh? Oh my God. You aren't kidding. Oh, what an interesting plant this could be. What is this? What kind of plant is this where the leaves poke up at the end like that? Hmm? Origami. Okay, so that's cool. They're all linked. Select all the leaves and the stem, then the pot, and press Control P to parent everything to the pot. Bam. 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 I did Alt D. So that's definitely another instance. Oh, thank you. Team one plant. Yeah, I do like asymmetry. File cabinet, yep. A water cooler. Ah, yes. Gotta bring it all back. How do I select the group? Oh, I guess I can just... Yep, it's gone. Gone. Do it... Do what? What am I doing? Oh, be blendful. Yeah. Get in there. I mean, I'm getting a lot of help from chat. So keep that in mind, right? Like I'm not really doing this myself. Character modeling, I would imagine, would be hard, yeah. Yeah, streamer benefits. Not that chat. I hate that that's been overridden. It was funny for myself, like, it took me a while to realize that people weren't referencing like a stream chat when they were like doing the chat. Does this make sense? You know, that kind of joke. I really thought they were being like, the joke is that they're like talking like a streamer, but they're actually talking to a chatbot. Yeah, it'll always be Twitch chat for me. It was that, but it's transitioned. It's transitioned. That's what fucks me up. Okay, so I think maybe we're all in that sort of liminal space, aren't we? It was ours first, yeah. They shouted meekly from Usenet as the months flew by, and the shouts became meeker and meeker and meeker. It's okay. If we're going to be reflecting on age, something that I've been realizing is it seems like there is a point that comes along where maybe you kind of get off at one of the stations. Where you kind of just realize, you know, my world is not this world. Not, maybe don't get off in that way, I guess. Yeah, the eternal whatever. Dude, that's the stuff. Ugh. Ooh. That's the stuff that makes me question going on, is when you God, it comes up so often, and I want to chop my own head off every single time I hear it. There was a YouTube video that the algorithm handed me, which was of a programmer talking about how they have decided to stop using the LLM coding tools, most likely Claude, right? And in the process of explaining how it went for them and like what their experiences were, one of the stories that they conveyed was that they were feeling something, and they took the chatbot's advice to go to the emergency room. And at the emergency room, they were like, there's nothing wrong with you, you're fine, go home. And then he was embarrassed. And it's like, yeah, what? I don't understand how you cross that line. For me, I can't imagine it. It doesn't exist. There's no point at which ever I would cross the line over to I'm listening to what this fucking this blown up autocomplete is telling me to do. It's not alive. It doesn't think. It's not reasoning. It is a magic trick. The whole thing is random. It is just random. And I can't understand that. Sometimes I feel like I'm being mean about people, but I just do not understand. I don't think I ever will understand that. I can't. I can wrap my head around people using it as a tool because that's being crammed down all of our throats. But fuck. Oh, that one pubs was like fucking crazy. Like I've already written off Dawkins as a piece of shit, so I didn't really fucking care one way or the other. But in that case, it was more of like, yes, this makes sense. This makes us like the worst kind of sense was what that one was. I know, but the thing is, Gek, I just feel like, don't you have your own agency? Don't you have your own ability to survey? Like, I'm in a position where I'm being forced to use this shit for work. And my experiences with it, every experience I have with it, is a reminder that it's a dumb piece of shit and I hate it. There's never been a moment where I have moved in the direction of thinking that this is a thing that thinks. You know what I mean? If anything, I'm in hell. I talk to it in a mean way because I hate it. I hate what it's doing to everything. Hate what it's doing to my job. The thing that I am struggling with the most right now is, dude, there are so many people who have completely ceded over all communication to it. Okay? There's so many people in the professional space who have done this, and you get these fucking horrific, gigantic, long diatribes for every communication. You don't get like just a couple of bullet points. You get a fucking huge, long, multi-paragraph thing that wastes your brain cells because you have to parse all of this filler fucking text, and it makes me want to fall the fuck asleep. It makes me I can't I don't know how much longer I can deal with this shit. It's crazy how dramatically worse just working every day has become in the past year and a half. For no reason at all, other than there are
there's a handful of people making a fuck ton of money. I don't do that though, because first of all, I try to minimize my interaction. Second of all, I know for a fact that it's the fuck up machine is what it is. And I don't want to take some slop that somebody else has generated, put it back into the slop machine and ask it to slop it less. Because what I think is going to happen is it's basically a game of telephone, but slop. It's a game of slopaphone, where it's very likely going to make it even worse. The amount of fucking up that these things do, that the invention of nonsense, I mean, it's not invention because it's not capable of inventing anything, but the fact that it is it's a random dice roll every time it operates. There's so much constant fucking mistakes and hallucinations and just incorrect bullshit. And it's all magnified by the fact that everybody is just thoughtlessly cramming everything into it and then taking whatever it spits out and handing it to you. There are people that they don't speak to you on Slack anymore. They used to talk on Slack with their own two hands. Now they paste in whatever the fucking bot said, or they literally have just connected their account to the bot. So the bot is what talks to you. And I want to put 50 guns to my head. I want to die. I can't stand it. I fucking can't stand it. I hate reading that shit. And you can tell instantly every single fucking time because it reads like a high schooler's fucking padded out essay. That's the way it writes. It puts in as much bullshit as possible to make it like 10 times as long as it needs to be. Oh. And I'm constantly trying to push back as well. I'm like, hey, don't just like paste that shit in there. Like if you're going to use it, at least understand what it was and then rephrase it or rewrite it in your own words. Like don't just paste this shit at people. But the more that you do that, people act like you are a Luddite, which about this, certainly I am. I mean, they are calling me out truly. They are accurate in their accusation. But I'm also right. Oh, God. It's just made work awful. It's made it so, like, I don't know what the future is. Every day, it just feels like this is it, man. This is what we're fucking gonna be facing for the rest of forever now. This is the way work is gonna feel forever now. I mean, obviously the case, Pubs. Obviously the case. There's been, I can kind of tell when a client is gonna go, essentially that they're gonna implode, because they'll start kind of doing like, they'll start punching back, because like it's really bizarre where some people will engage your services but then treat you like an enemy. And in the past, those types of people had less quote unquote ammunition, okay? But what has happened now is that they'll hit you with, like, you'll say, oh, well, that thing you requested isn't going to be possible to do in that way for X, Y, and Z reason, right? It's just the way the platform works, blah, blah. You'll give like rational explanations for why you've come to whatever decision. In the past, they would just be like, oh, okay, or whatever. Now they'll take that and they'll paste it into the fucking chatbot. And the chatbot will go, well, actually, blah, 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 and it'll do some appeasing bullshit, and it'll give them some code that doesn't work because it doesn't fucking know anything. And then they come back, well, actually, I discovered that you could do this. And then you have to hit them back with, the stuff that you just pasted at me is not actually something that works because the platform doesn't support that. If you actually were to try to use it, which I did, just to show you that this doesn't work, you would find that it doesn't fucking work. But now we've sailed past that point where they're just hooking their everything up to it, so you don't even have the chance to answer back. They just think that they know what they're doing now. So we skip past the sort of back and forth part, and they just start taking over the GitHub. And they have, basically, it'll be like the founder who, it's basically, it's the modern, like, oh, well, I hired my nephew and he built the front end over the weekend and I only had to pay him $15. It's the modern that, except for now it is literally the CEO doing it themselves. And they think that because they hooked up the GitHub and everything else, that they know what they're doing. Because it did some things. But what they're going to do is obviously grind their fucking code base down into the dirt over time. And they're not going to have the expertise to recognize that it's happening along the way. So the whole way along, they're going to be just patting themselves on the back about what a great fucking cool job they're doing. Meanwhile, their employees are going to be like putting out fires left, right, and center. Because all of a sudden shit is real weird. Things don't work together anymore because there's no planning, because there's nobody with any expertise at the wheel. It's just a random number generator deciding things because nobody's using their brain to design any of this. So none of it works together. And eventually, I don't know, they go out of business, I guess. Who knows? Everything's going to sort of just be that way. The people who actually know things aren't going to be allowed to get near the thing anymore. And no one will take the blame because it's going to sort of slowly disintegrate and collapse. You know, it's not going to be an instant detonation, although it could be that. Sometimes it can be that. But there's definitely going to be like this sort of slide thing. It's like going to be a slow degradation until it falls apart, is essentially the way that it goes. Shut the fuck up. Oh god, there was a directive that went out to everybody of like that you are not allowed for anything that's client facing to have an EM dash in it. I want to cry. Ironically, if you have expertise, that's the only way that you really can helm one of these fucking tools for any purpose. It's really only basically the coding space where it actually makes a lot of sense, or not makes a lot of sense. Let me phrase this differently. Can successfully be used as a tool if there's oversight by somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing and is actually looking at what's being done. That's the narrow window. Outside of it, it's all a fucking shit show. Right, they dull your fucking knowledge because you're not using it. To actually maintain, you know, programming knowledge, you have to fucking program. I don't know. It's all a giant fucking disaster. It's a disaster. It's also that some shitheads can play with fake money, basically. They're passing around money that doesn't exist. It's just IOUs. They just keep going, well, I owe you $100 million, and then you owe me $100 million, and then they owe you $100 million, and they're not fucking actually. Nobody has any of that fucking money, and then we still have to pay our bills. This doesn't seem fair. Yeah, I saw a headline today that apparently the entire stock of all memory has been purchased through 2027. All of it. Purchased, quote unquote, because again, AI take computer, yeah. That's how I've been looking at, like, I look at my computers that I have, and I'm like, these are my last computers. I've noticed that the ads for, like, have you noticed that none of the tech channels are reviewing any hardware anymore? And also the sponsors have switched over to like mini PCs, all-in-ones. Yeah, this doesn't surprise me. This fucking sucks, Twee. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, the Steam frame we're getting tomorrow. I have no idea what's going on with it. Well, I still have I'm still subscribed to Gamers Nexus and Linus Tech Tips. Linus Tech Tips has kind of become Linux Tech Tips, which is cool, and I'm happy about that. And Gamers Nexus has become the sort of left-wing. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, Gamers Nexus is more appropriately angry. They're like my level of angry, which I appreciate. They just dedicated the channel to attacking AI and data centers, and it's nice. Steve was just on Better Offline with Ed Zitron. I never really watched MKBHD. I don't even know if that's how you say the channel name. Yeah, BFA. This track that we're listening to right now is from Phalanx, the shmup. It's called Ending. The only tech channels I really watched were like having to do with PC building. I don't really give a shit about phones, never have, so I don't really. That's probably why I didn't end up watching MKBHD. The end of history. I feel like we don't need to reference the end of history, the book. Just a shitty book. I think you were. I think it was just accidental. No, you're good. It gave me an opportunity to dunk on old what's his name. There's a lot of like shitty books that have kind of become there's like a chain of them that have built the American liberal brain cell. End of History is one of them. End of History is basically a book that's like, liberalism won, and we don't need to do anything anymore. Yeah, Francis Fukuyama. It's crazy how you can write a book that's really shitty and dumb, and then that can be like it's essentially like your pass to the upper classes. Even if it's stupid and eventually you get like debunked and dunked on, you can't exit that. Like once you're in that, you're in. There's no removing. I think the biggest example of how stupid and dumb all that shit is the fact that every liberal slurped up J.D. Vance's book, which was basically like a giant psyop. And it was insanely successful. It was kind of like the perfect trick. By the way, when I say liberals, I mean like not leftists. I mean like, I don't know, people probably get confused by that still, but the bad liberals. Yeah, liberals derogatory. But not liberals. Yeah, which is different. Exactly. When I say it, what I mean is the ones who would read a book by J.D. Vance because they're looking for a way to figure out how to speak to those darn dirty rural people that they just can't seem to figure out. What is it with those ding-dang farmers and, whatever, the stupid dumb shit that, I don't know. Yeah. It's really great that happened, and then J.D. Vance didn't go away, and we got to see what a dumb piece of shit he is, so that everyone could be embarrassed together about what a stupid fucking saga that all was. Yeah, I mean you're seeing it correctly, Gak. But it's all sort of like, it's weirdly disconnected from us. It's disconnected from actual people. Oh God, yeah, I know. Don't you wish that you were a New Yorker? Zoran's doing crazy work. Like he's not making the most, you know, unforgiving leftists happy, but I think that we have, like, on the left, we have a serious problem with not being able to recognize being strategic, and we have a tendency to be super black and white. And so there was a lot of along the way, like, well, he didn't immediately 100% fix the homeless situation so that it's equitable to the homeless, you know. And yeah, a lot of it was not perfection along the way, but also the dude is generating insane aura for the DSA and socialism and leftists. Like, you gotta recognize the W's here, that are pretty fucking massive, and getting other DSA candidates elected across the country. Well, not elected so far, but, like, you know, winning the primaries and shit, overcoming the establishment Democrats, so on and so forth. Like, yes, I wish for perfection, but, like, we can't get that most of the time anyway. So we need to do the best that we can. Absolutely. Like, exactly, Pubs. Like, that's, and I'm not saying, by the way, that the criticisms are wrong. It's all pretty much right and makes sense, but also it's like, I think we have to maybe kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Like, we just have to think a little bit deeper, or allow a little bit more flex. I'm afraid to say game theory. Yeah, sure, Doug. What do you got? Hit me. This was a nice Blender sesh, by the way. Thank you all again for your assistance. Alrighty, Tweety. Yeah, it was good to see you. Appreciate you stopping by. Have some good food and have a great night. Spare time repair. He's a guy that repairs primarily CD players. Okay. I will take a look. Hey, Mr. BB. How you doing? Why are you yelling? Spare time repair. Ooh. All right. Nice. These are some real cool machines. These are right in the, like, wheelhouse. Very cool. Thank you, Doug. Yeah, we used to make stuff that people could fix. We used to make stuff worth fixing. That's really the that's the take, I think. We used to make stuff. Well, but what about infinite growth? God, all of that shit is so awful too.
it's crazy that just like it doesn't take a whole lot of thinking to wrap your head around like, what are we gonna make? Nothing. there's nothing to make. What are you talking about? And the whole thing is because, you know, hypercapitalism, of course, is going to go and try to get everything as cheap as possible. So there's nothing you can do, like to make them use the domestic population as the workforce inherently means that everyone's going to be taking a big pay cut. That's quite obvious, right? Because that's the only way to entice the businesses to manufacture here. Anyway, I'm gonna go before you guys get me ranting again. Thanks for watching and hanging out. Have a good night. I will see you next stream. Good night, Gamers Nexus.